Hi, I'm Elaine Harding. Welcome to my blog.stampwithelaine.com and welcome to today's project, which is this one. It's a gorgeous card in soft sea foam and grey granite, and also a bonus project with this little pouch to hold a lip balm from Burt's Bees. You can find this honeybee bundle on page 30 in the mini catalogue, and this is a distinctive stamp set with the matching dies. So there's an open work die, cut out this bee here, and that will cut out that one. Then you've got the hive, the flowers, and then some little extras like the open work honeybee, the honeycomb, and a pair of hearts. If you add some ribbon, ink pads or cardstock to bring you up to the level 1 mark, you will get these papers from Sale-A-Bration free. These have been cut down from a 12 by 12 inch sheet, and that's the front and the reverse of the papers. 6 double-sided designs altogether. You need a card base in grey granite cut at 5 7/8 by 8 1/4 and folded in half. In metric, that's 14.85 by 21 centimetres. You need some basic grey cardstock to die cut a pair of open work honeybees, and I've already pre-cut these to save time. You need a soft sea foam matte layer cut at 5 5/8 by 3 7/8. In metric, that's 14.3 by 9.8. You also need a scrap of soft sea foam for the labels. You need 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock, one for the front and one for the card insert, and that goes on top of the soft sea foam layer on the front, and both these measure 5.5 by 3 3/4, and in metric that's 14 centimetres by 9.5 centimetres. You need some Whisper White, a scrap, some blanks, 1 small bee, 1 larger bee, a pair of flowers, and the honeycomb, which I've pre-cut again to save time. Take one of the Whisper White pieces and use the hive and centre it on your cardstock, like so. Magnetic platform, base cutting plate, cardstock followed by the die with the cutting edge face down, top cutting plate, and then you're ready to run it through the Big Shot. So there's my die cut pieces. I'll set that aside and run through the rest of the materials you'll need. You need a Daffodil Delight Stamp and Write marker, Daffodil Delight ink, grey granite and soft sea foam ink, holiday rhinestones, Daffodil Delight ruched ribbon, 1/4 inch width, that's 6.4 millimeters, a 6 by 6 inch Golden Honey Specialty DSP for your bonus project to make this box, a sponge dauber which I've cut from the round ones and I cut them into 6, the detailed trio punch and the classic label punch, and the subtle 3D embossing folder. Now if you've got the old one, old style 3D embossing folder, you only need the basic platform dynamic embossing folder, as it was called back then, and just 1 acrylic plate. However, if you've got the new configuration one, then you need to use it with the blue embossing plate and the Stamp-A-Ratus. Now I cut my blanks, and so I've set up the Stamp-A-Ratus to stamp on the blanks. And the reason I did this was because I wanted a two-tone colour on the stamp, and I just felt that the ink pads give you a better inkage rather than using the Stampin' Write markers. You can use it either way. You can use a soft sea foam Stampin' Write marker with the, what colour did I use? Daffodil Delight. So let's get started. I'm going to stamp my bees and pop the blank in here and ink it up in grey granite. Pop my smaller bee on, ink that up in grey granite again. Insert my flower blanks in. Swap sides and ink it up with soft sea foam first to do the stems. Ink it up with soft sea foam, and I need to use something to remove the flowers. I'm just going to take the ink, this soft sea foam ink, off the flowers. And stamp. I've cleaned off the soft sea foam, and now I only want the flowers. So I need to clean off any Daffodil Delight that I've put on by mistake. Well, it's not mistake. Clean off the Daffodil Delight ink. And stamp. See how nicely that's come out? Next, I need to offer the card front with the beehive cut out of it to the matte layer, and I want to make sure that it stays straight and doesn't move. And I butt it right into the corner so I can then find the position where my stamp should go. Pick up the stamp and then put some glue on the inside and glue this into that aperture. Then I can take away the top layer, put my magnet there so it doesn't move, then ink up the hive with Daffodil Delight and stamp. Now I want to sandwich the hive, so I'm going to put dimensionals to secure this down. Now take the piece with the hive cut out and pop it into the embossing folder, and I want the lines going horizontally, so you need to put it in sideways, because mine is the old style and they were called the dynamic embossing folders, but the new style ones, which is exactly the same pattern with the current annual catalogue, you only need the blue plate, because the 3D embossing folders are now slightly thinner, so this blue plate takes up the slack. Now I've already put dimensionals on this card here, and also to anchor down the hexagons. So take those all off and then lay this on top with an even border all round. adhere that to the card front. Out the sentiment. I've trimmed it down. And then just cut a bit of flag tip on it at either end. The bone folder to curl it a little bit. And there's a gap here, so I want to hide that. So I'll put one of the bees there. Grab a glue dot to put it on the ends. Pop a mini glue dot underneath that. And do the same for this flower. Last thing to do is the bee for the inside, and that's where I need my Daffodil Delight marker just to colour in here. The glue. And now for some finishing touches. So tie a little bow. Attach it with a glue dot. Trim it off. And a last little touch, some rhinestones. So now let's go on to the box. First we're going to sponge the designer series paper. To stamp the sentiment. Take the classic label punch and punch it out. Make a little tail this side. Bring in the scoreboard, and on one side you score at 1 1/4. Because it's designer series paper, it's best to use the thicker end of your stylus. So score at 1 1/4, 2 3/4, 4 and 5 1/2. Rotate it a 1/4 turn and score at 1 1/4 and 4 3/4. So I'll go through the metric. That will be 3.2, 7, 10.2 and 14 centimeters. Rotate it a 1/4 turn and score at 3.2, 12.1 centimeters. Burnish all the score lines. So where your narrow margin is, you cut it at a slant like so, and then cut off those little rectangles. You need to establish which is your front and which is your back. So let's cut the bottom first. So you cut up to the first score line at the bottom, hard to see. Put double-sided tape just shy of the score line. Then this is your seam, so this is the front. So the front goes last. So that's where you want to put your design, your double-sided tape. So it's on the second panel. With that from the left without the tab. Want that flap to close over the top here, so you need to cut away these 3 tabs and keep the last tab next to the joining tab, so it might be easy to see this way. So let's cut that first. Alright, fold that back so you don't cut all of it off. Fold that back, and you need your corner rounder punch. Offer that up into the corner, press from the middle, and then fold that back and do the same with the opposite side. Remove the label. You can trim that off if you want because it's excess. Fold that down, fold that over. So fold the 2 sides in, and that one, then remove the label, the double-sided tape, and close it. So just pinch. Pop my lip salve in, make sure I've got enough ribbon, so I'm doing it on the roll, and then take your grey granite open work bees that you cut earlier. You go down first, then up through the middle, and down. I'm going to put some glue onto the second bee, and I need to make sure that the legs, his body, basically everything is covered. Put them up there, lay the other one on top, pinch it together to make sure they're aligned with each other. Grab a glue dot and pop that through, and there you have it. So that's the box, and there's the card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Do give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and pop back for more inspiration next time. You'll find the links to all the supplies below this video in the Show More section. Thanks for watching. Bye!